The Auto Club 500 on Fox, presented by Q Motor Oil, is sponsored by DLP Picture Technology from Texas Instruments. By Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff. By Visa, go on, live life, and remember that no matter what it takes, life takes Visa. And by Allstate, official partner of NASCAR.
Racing always has lots of new technology, and Nextel now has NASCAR Fan View. You can rent these units and the accompanying headphones at the track. Watch onboard video of your favorite driver, watch the television feed, listen to driver audio, and punch in all kinds of neat statistics. And these are available at the track on a race-by-race basis. Sunoco loaned me one for the Daytona 500. We played with it. It's pretty cool. You can learn things like this, the point standings with the running positions as they are right now. NASCAR Nextel Fan View. Next step in enjoying your at-the-track experience.
Speaking of experience, this is when it gets exciting on a restart here, because this is later on in the race, and all those cars on the inside, they are one or more laps down, so it's like a double file restart like we had at the start of the race. All the lead lap cars to the outside.
Yeah, we'll see a little three-wide racing here now. It'll get a little hectic. Got to be careful on these restarts.
Matt Kenseth leads them down to the green. Kurt Busch, Greg Biffle, Carl Edwards, and Ryan Newman. The first five on the outside lane.
Kurt Busch in the 2 gets a good run on the high side on Matt Kenseth. Remember, he has 4 tires. Matt Kenseth in the 17 has those 2 right side tires.
Look at that mess. Holy cow.
Tony Stewart lost 14 positions on pit road. What happened there, Dick?
Just a whole pile of things that happened on pit road. It started with Jeff Chandler, the front tire changer. He just plain missed the lugs on the right front, slow coming around to the other side of the car. Then Jody Fortson, the rear carrier, got his hand caught somehow or another within the car. Right now, Fortson has his hand stuck in the team cooler, trying to ease the pain on his fingers. So a bad stop. I bet if Tony Stewart had that to do all over again, he'd have stayed out rather than making that pit stop, Mike. To Steve.
Well, Dick, Carl Edwards said that his car was just a little bit too free at the start of that run, but he also told crew chief Bob Osborne that the car was coming to me. So what they did was just to make a small air pressure adjustment, half pound in both left side tires. Mike?
Boy, Matt Kenseth is making that strategy look pretty good as he rocketed right past Kurt Busch to retake the lead.
Yeah, those rights had to catch up with the lefts, or the lefts had to catch up with the rights, whichever way.
The air pressure,
exactly.
Yeah, the air pressure was down on those right sides they put on the car, and it took probably a lap and a half for them to come in. But now Kurt Busch in the 2 has his hands full with Matt Kenseth's teammate Greg Biffle in the 16 for second.
Matt Kenseth, last lap. Wow, 39.67, his best lap of the race.
And you can bet one thing, and Larry and Jeff know this. Every crew chief on pit road is saying, whoa, 2 tires. Not a bad way to go.
He was the guinea pig.
Yeah. They were all saying, let's see what happens. Now they're saying, oh, boy.
Well, I'm thinking with the track having cooler temperatures, that certainly helps be able to adjust to 2 right side tires. Has more grip.
Let's get some other pit stop updates. Here's Matt.
Now, Mike, we already told you about the air pressure adjustment they were making to Greg Biffle's car. Now, he looked up in the mirror at one point under caution and saw that the 99 Carl Edwards was there, and he asked Doug Richard. Now, did Carl get up there by running the high side, wondering if he, like a lot of other guys, had moved up to the high side as the track continuing to change? They were chasing the track. He says, no, they just had a great pit stop. But they also came on the rear and said, you know what? It looks kind of like the old days when we looked up at the scoring pylon, and when you look up the pylon, it was like all the old Roush guys. It was Biffle, Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Carl Edwards, and the 6 of Mark Martin.
And that would be a jack attack.
Stewart trying to regain ground lost on pit road, battling Jeff Gordon for 11.
Jeff Gordon has led the most laps at this racetrack. I think it's 410 laps he's led here. You know how many he's led in the last 6 times here? 1. So this place has not been good to him since early on.
You can see Tony Stewart wave his left hand out the window. Thank you for a little give and take right there early in the race. Remember, these two at Daytona, there wasn't a lot of give and take early in the race over in turn 2.
That's right. They got together, knocking Gordon's car out of alignment and damaging the aero on Stewart's car just a little bit. But you're right, that was early on.
But I like what Jeff said. He said, you know, we could both take a little blame there. That wasn't like pointing fingers at each other. I could have lifted, he could have let me in, so forth. So that's racing, good hard racing.
Now let's take a look at Ryan Newman in the 12 car here. Remember, he started this race in 11th position. He was just about to go a lap down when that last caution came out, but Matt Borland, his crew chief, elected to go with 2 right side tires, try to get that track position with some adjustments. He's up there in the 6th position now.
Riding with Casey Kane right behind Newman, both in Dodges.
Got one in an Intrepid and one in a Charger.
6th place battle. The Dodge Charger, new last year as the body style and designed around an aero package that's no longer used. NASCAR trimmed 1 inch off the top of the rear spoiler, and that made the Dodge Charger a little unsettled.
And NASCAR doesn't care which one you run. You can run anything within a 3-year period. So this year you can run the 04, the 05, or the 06.
Yeah, they just feel like that the balance of the car is much better with the Intrepid, and the Charger down on the inside, the Intrepid on the outside. Very similar, but just a little bit of difference in aero.
Dodge is trying to charge to the front. They're the first 3 of them in the race. Busch, Newman, and Casey Kane. 100 laps next time by, 150 to go, as Kurt Busch, who started from the front row, currently runs in 3rd.
All right, Kurt, I'm trying to fix my radio here. I got a big antenna attached now. Can you copy? 10-4, you sound like $1 million. Thanks for the 2 tires. Appreciate it. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah. I can hear you fine.
It's Roger. Talk to him on the front straighter. Then we can hear you loud and clear, and also him.
Yeah, 10-4, Roger. You heard me. I got a bigger antenna attached now. Yeah, 10-4. I got you now, Roy. Hey, I'll take a water bottle next pit stop.
All right, the last voice was driver Kurt Busch, crew chief Roy McCauley, and Roger Penske, the car owner.
And I think the problem, pit road here, it has suites right behind it. And that was Roy McCauley saying, I'm away from the little antenna on my headset. I now have went to an antenna that extends up above the pits. It would be like those yellow poles right there you see right there. That's what he had to go to, because I think he was getting the interference from those suites when Kurt was on the back stretcher down in the corners.
Communication so important at over 180 miles an hour. From the pit to the car to the spotter up on the roof, all part of a winning effort. Greg Biffle out in front of teammate Matt Kenseth by 1.3 seconds. Kurt Busch a light distance behind.
Fox, glad to have you with us from California. Our kickoff to the season, and Jack Roush Ford's 4 of the top 5 spots. Greg Biffle currently leading with Matt Kenseth right behind him. There is Biffle in his 16 car. From the start, we had only a couple of leaders the first 50 laps. Kurt Busch was on the pole, but Biffle passing him to lead 53 of the first 59 laps, and at about 185 miles per hour. 34-year-old Tony Stewart from Indiana working his way to pass Biffle. And Tony led for about a 28-lap stretch. Matt Kenseth, who started 31st, had to work his way up through the field, passing guys like Jimmy Johnson to get back up to the top and actually lead for a portion of the race. Again, currently running second. We have gone 107 laps and 143 to go.
Looking pretty strong right there. As Darrell likes to say, the Jack attack. Greg Biffle up front. Teammate Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards second and third. And old man Mark Martin fifth. And Jamie McMurray, the newcomer to the block, to round out the position in number 8.
And the guy kind of swapped positions. Kurt Busch in that 2-car, Rusty's 2-car, Rusty's old ride. Carl Edwards currently running third. And important for him to have a big race and a good run here after what happened last week to him at Daytona.
Yeah, he was the first car out at Daytona. So this team right here is kind of finding themselves in a hole. And a solid run today will really help them kind of get back on track. And you got to understand, Chris, you can give it up in big chunks, but you're probably not going to get it back in big chunks. So it's going to be one race at a time. And these guys need to climb their way back up in the points this year.
Kind of a ping pong day for Ryan Newman. He dropped out beyond 20, then he got inside the top 10. Now he's currently running 10th. And Casey Kane, another dodge up in the top 10.
Yeah, right now looking at Casey Kane, he actually put down the fastest lap as far as the guys on that last lap right there. Good strong run for him and Ray Evernham's dodge. But yeah, you pointed out Ryan Newman. Hey, it's good to see him kind of rallying his way back up here in the top 10 right now.
That's rejoined Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Joy.
17 laps to halfway here in Fontana, the third major NASCAR track to be built in Southern California. Riverside International Raceway, a road course just to the east of here, and only a couple of miles west. Ontario Motor Speedway was a 2.5-mile replica of Indianapolis and operated Cup and IndyCar races for many years. Kenseth in second, trailing Greg Biffle by 1 second. As Roush cars occupy the first 3 spots, we're not far from the House of Mouse. Could this place become the House of Roush? Yeah,
there's the other one right there. Carl Edwards in the 99 car. You heard Jeff Hammond talk about dead last at Daytona. He's trying to make a strong recovery here. And there's a graduate from the University of Roush right there. Kurt Busch drove for Jack the last 5 years, moving on to Penske Racing in the 2 car. He's in 4th right now.
Yeah, you said Canny. I think he already has.
And Mark Martin, the longtime leader at Roush Racing, who retired at the end of last year, unretired because Jack needed a driver for his number 6 car this year.
And Jeff Gordon's on the screen here. I said in the last 6 races, it's been the last 3 races.
Battery bad.
Battery trouble for Jeff Gordon.
And these teams most teams carry a secondary battery, and it sounds like what Jeff did is flipped over to the secondary battery, and it seems like that maybe fixed the problem. He must have seen the voltage going down. And
like battery too. Let's shut the air conditioner, everything off. Make sure we got an alternator. Shut everything off.
And what Steve Letarte, his crew chief, is telling him, cut everything off you don't need, like your helmet blower or anything else. Let's make sure your alternator's charging, which is what the volt gauge will tell him.
Yeah, and I said the last 6 races. The last 3 races, he's only led 1 lap. Because he won here in 2004, and he led quite a bit. Is that correct? Wrong again?
Only 4 drivers have led this race today. There's a look at the gauges on the dashboard. The big one is the tachometer showing the engine speed.
And you'll see all the little ones right there. One of them would be oil pressure, oil temperature, water temperature, and one of those would be a volt gauge. And you normally want about 13.5, 14 volts on that gauge.
Continues to run laps in the 42-second range. That's about 4/10 behind what the leader is running, but it is still competitive pace. Next Sunday we'll be at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City with the NASCAR Busch Series. And here comes Stewart. 7th place, working on Kurt Busch for 6th.
And it's probably going to take him this whole run to recover from those problems on pit road.
Dick Berggren in Stewart's pit with an update.
Well, I've been watching his lap times, Mike, and lap after lap, Tony Stewart has had the fastest car on the racetrack. He's been on the radio asking where other people are running. He's not satisfied with being the fastest. He wants to go still faster.
Couple of near misses today involving Tony Stewart. First, while racing Greg Biffle. Some time ago, Stewart's car slides up, and he has to wiggle it just a bit to stay off of Biffle. And just about 10 laps ago, Darrell, the car slides up almost into the path of Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, it looks like he's got his hands full right now.
But that was almost in the same place right there on the exit of turn 4.
And here was the problem on pit road while changing the left side tires. The rear tire changer still has his hand in the fender well when the car comes down off the jack.
Yeah, he's locating the tire up in there, and I guess he got his hand. He didn't get his hand out quick enough.
Just remember, these guys are trying to change 4 tires and up 22 gallons of fuel in about 13.5 seconds.
So Stewart, a leader of this race for 28 laps. He's led twice and now is in 6th place and rebounding. He is the first Chevrolet in the race behind the 5th place Dodge of Casey Kane and the 4 Roush Fords at the front.